Okay, we'll carry on with this zoo. We had a look at it the other day, but let's break it down a little bit further. So identification, okay, what you're looking at, there's no little dimples there. It's not open bottom. So if you're looking through that section of the keyhole, it's just grey but with no dimples. So it's pretty hard to identify because there's so many similar. So it is a tricky one to identify. Okay, if you get to see a bit more of it, if you see the bolt, it's sandwiched, so that might give you a little bit of indication. But yeah, so your 7-gauge tool, a long wire on this particular lot. And as I said before, it's quite a dead pick. Even though this is a sash lock, there you go. It's a real dead pick. It feels really spongy. There's not much feedback. You can't feel the levers spring backwards and forwards. It's very, very sort of dead. Let's have a look at why is it like that. I'll help us out later on. Have you ever come across one? So we'll get that plate off again. So these screws. Again, with sash locks, always be careful because you can spend more time trying to put the handle part back together again if those springs come out than anything else. Okay, so I don't really want to disturb that part, that's why I take it off carefully like that. It's just very basic plate. So when you look at it, it's not open bottom, there's no dimples on it, so if you look for the keyway, you're only looking at that part there. It seems quite a wide curtain on it. So let's have a look at why it was the way it was. So yeah, standard size levers. Got false notches on the bottom, a little tiny one. So we've got a 3, very similar to sort of Yale sort of style, new Yale style levers. Very similar, but not as deep notches, of course. The first one was a 3. Now it's these spaces, maybe that's why it feels a bit. It feels a bit dead there. Possible, you know, there is spring in there. So we've got a space. The newer locks you'll come across tend not to have all the curtains drifting on me. The new locks tend to not have spaces so much anymore. So again, we're back another 3, so it's the same. Little false notch on the bottom. Again, another generic space, all exactly the same on this particular lot. Oh, the whole lot's drifting. I can't really make out a number on this one. Oh, number 4, sorry. It's number 4, so 2 3s and a 4. False notch on the bottom again. So it starts to give us a bit of a indication how we can get past it. Another generic spacer. And number 6 now. So it's a lot less of a lift. Again, false notch on the bottom. Another spacer. And well, that curtain's coming out again. I'll have a look at that. Back on to number 4. False notch to the bottom. So what did we have? We had 2 3s, a 4, a 6 and a 4. Again, generic spacer, all with false notches on the bottom. So that tells you can do sort of medium sort of lifts. Anything too higher lifts, you're going to get starting to stuck into those notches. So I would say for the ones that I've seen with these zoo locks, don't tend to lift too high and have a little fish around, little nudges. Start to lift it too high, you will going to get stuck in one of those notches. So that's a real indication of what's going on there. Generic. Yeah, so it's very, 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 very generic curtain. A bit worn. As you can see, they always wear on the edges, these two. So if you're looking through the keyhole, really this is what you're sort of looking at. Just trying to identify it, yeah? If you can see that much of the lock. Gives you a small indication. I know it's not a great one. And we'll look at the bolt. Again, if you can get to see the bolt, it's sandwiched, yeah? Those little notches in the actual bolt stump as well. And it's all steel. So yeah, zoo, bit of a disappointing pick really. Don't come across them that often. If you do, let me know. Feedback some below. Have you seen any zoo with false notches on the top and the bottom? I've seen a couple of I've come across, and they've only ever got false notch at the bottom. If you can feed that, that will be great. So everybody, stay safe, stay well. Really appreciate your support. Remember, if you like the video, put the old thumbs up, leave a comment. It's an interaction, so we can talk to each other about these sort of locks. And I'll see you all very soon. Ta-da!